Hello everyone. So now today we take up with question number 2 of profit prior to incorporation. Look at it everyone, and before you start with this question and video lecture, advisably have a look at the summary. What is the format of profit and loss statement and what are the bases of apportionments, allocations. Have a look at it before you start watching this lecture. Question number 2, the promoters of Sun Limited purchased a running business on 1st April 2017. Now they purchased the running business on 1st April 2017 means that is the date of acquisition. All of you mark it as DOA, date of acquisition. Okay. I repeat, the promoters of Sun Limited purchased a running business on 1st April 2017, Star Limited. Okay, the business which they are acquiring is Star Limited, and now they will be running it under the name of Sun Limited. Sun Limited was incorporated on 1st August 2017. Mark it as date of incorporation, DOI. And the combined profit and loss account of company prior to and after the date of incorporation is as under. Profit and loss account for the year ended on 31st March 2018, that is date of year ending. Mark it as DOYE, date of year ending. But if you all remember, I have given you a shortcut to get the time ratio. Just write the 3 dates in the chronological order of ascending order of occurrence. So 1st April 2017, 1st August 2017, 31st March 2018. This itself is the chronological ascending order of occurrence. So 1st April to 1st August, April, May, June, July. 4 months is pre-incorporation period. And 1st August to 31st March. August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. 8 months is post-incorporation period. I repeat, just write the 3 dates in chronological ascending order, which will be 1st April 2017. After April will come 1st August 2017. After August will come next year 31st March 2018. So April, May, June, July. 1st August means August will not be included. April, May, June, July. 4 months is pre-incorporation period. And August to March, 8 months is post-incorporation period. Now, in profit and loss account, whatever items are given in that, we have to do the markings of 2 things. Which 2 things? In green letters, we will do the markings of where it will come in P&L statement. And in blue letters, we will do the marking of basis of apportionment. Okay, you all can use a different ink. With pencil also you can do it. But in green letters, I will do the marking of where it will come in profit and loss statement. And in blue markings, I will do the markings of basis of apportionment or basis of allocation. Have a look at it. To rent, rates, insurance, electricity and salaries, 1,20,000. Now here you have to make a correction. I repeat, you all have to make a correction. Rent, rates, insurance and electricity is out of 1,20,000, 80,000. Okay. And salaries are separately given as 40,000. All of you make this correction. I repeat, rent, rates, electricity, insurance. These 4 amounts are 80,000 and salaries are 40,000. So cancel 1,20,000 and against rent, rates, insurance and electricity write 80,000 and against salaries write 40,000. Now, rent, rates, insurance and electricity will come in administrative expense and all of them will go in time ratio. Okay, I hope all of you are able to follow this. Rent, rates, electricity and insurance are all administrative expenses, and out of time, sales and actual basis, they all go on time basis. First 4 months rents, rate, electricity, insurance will depend on 4 months period, and last 8 months will depend on that. Salaries will come in employees benefit, Okay, salaries will come in employees benefit expenses, so EB, and it will also go on time basis, that is T. Then directors sitting fees will come in administrative expenses, and it will go in actual basis in post incorporation period. Directors become the directors only after the company is formed, so entire amount will go on actual basis in post incorporation period. Preliminary expenses will come in miscellaneous expenses, and they will again go on actual basis in post incorporation period. Okay, we have done this in the first lecture. You can look at the items of P&L statement and the basis of apportionment also. That's why I said to you, briefly revise the summary before you start the video lecture. Carriage outward will come in selling expense, and it will go on sales ratio basis. Okay, carriage outward and selling expense will come in selling expense, and they will go on sales ratio basis. Then interest paid to vendors will come in finance costs, so mark it as F, and interest is paid to the vendors. Since it is paid to the vendors, it will go on time ratio, but even in time ratio up to the date of repayment. Okay, that we had done, if you all remember. Okay, we had done this point that finance cost interest paid to vendors will go on time basis but up to the date of repayment. So that we will see some information must be given in the question regarding that. I repeat, interest paid to vendors will go on time basis and up to the date of repayment. So this time ratio and this time ratio will be different from this last one. First two time ratio will be till 31st March, but this interest paid to vendors time ratio will be up to the date of repayment, and it will go in finance cost. Profit, ignore it. We have to find our own profit again. Okay, so ignore that. We must get same 12 lakhs, but we'll have to obtain it in the P&L statement. Then gross profit will come in revenue from operations. So write that in green, and it will go on sales basis. Okay, gross profit goes always on sales basis. Discount received from creditors will come in other incomes, and if you all remember, I told you discount received income will either go on purchase basis if given in the question. If it is not given, then sales basis. First priority purchase basis. Okay, you all can see here in other incomes I told you discount received first priority, it will go on purchase basis. If purchase basis is not given, then sales basis. Okay, so that is what I have marked here. Discount received from creditors, discount income will come in other incomes. Priority, it will go on purchase basis, so P. If purchase ratio is not given, then it will go on sales ratio. Further, following further information is available. Sales up to 31st July. Up to 31st July means pre-incorporation period, because from 1st August we have done the incorporation of the company. So sales up to 31st July were rupees 30 lakhs. These are pre-incorporation sales. Out of total sales of rupees 1 crore 50 lakhs of the year. So 1 crore 50 minus 30 lakhs. 1 crore 20 lakhs will be post-incorporation period sales. See, purchase ratio is given to you. I told you we will be using purchase ratio on priority basis for discount income, and that is given also in the question. Purchases up to 31st July were 30 lakhs. So same again, 30 lakhs are pre-incorporation purchases. Out of the total purchases of 90 lakhs of the year, so 90 lakhs minus 30 lakhs, 60 lakhs are post-incorporation purchases. From information 1, we will get sales ratio basis. And from information 2, we will get purchase ratio basis. Interest paid to vendors on 1st February 2018. This is what I told you. These two time ratios will be till 31st March, but interest paid to vendors will be till the date of repayment. And here we have repaid on 1st February. So we will find a different time ratio for interest paid to vendors till 1st February. At the rate of 12% per annum on rupees 10 lakhs. Now till 1st February means 10 months. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. 1st February means February will not be included. So April to January, 10 months. I repeat, interest paid to vendors on 1st February. 1st February means February month will not be included. So April, okay, April month to January month, that is a period of 10 months. We have paid interest of 10 months to the vendor on rupees 10 lakhs. You can count it. 10 lakhs into 12% is the rate of interest, and 10 months, so into 10 divided by 12. You all must get 1 lakh, which is given over here already. So you all can see interest paid to vendors 1 lakh is already given in the question, and even if you count it 10 lakhs into 12% into 10 by 12, 10 months, 10 divided by 12, you'll get same amount of 1 lakh. Being purchase consideration, so here we'll find a different time ratio. Here we will get again time basis, but only for interest paid to vendors. From the above information, prepare profit and loss account for the year ended 31st March 2018, showing the profit earned prior to and after incorporation, and also show the transfer of same to the appropriate account. Means we always pass that journal entry at the end, profit and loss statement account debit to capital reserve, pre-incorporation profit. That transfer is asked over here. So let's start with the solution. First, we will make the workings of time ratio, sales ratio, and in this question, two common workings are there in all the questions as we did in lecture 2 also. One is time ratio and the other is sales ratio. But here we will have 4 workings. Why 4 workings? Time ratio, sales ratio plus purchase ratio also, as it is given in the question. And again one more time ratio exclusively for interest paid to vendors. Okay. So 4 workings we have to make here. First, time ratio. Now regarding time ratio, what shortcut I told you, henceforth we will follow that. I told you that only in first question for understanding we are writing so much in detail. Year beginning or acquisition, incorporation, year ending. But I told you directly we can write the dates in the ascending order and get the time ratio. That is what we are going to do over here. Okay, henceforth. So what are the 3 dates in the ascending order? 1st April 2017. After 1st April 2017, next date in the ascending order is 1st August 2017 in the chronological order, and after that the next date in the chronological order is 31st March 2018. So April, May, June, July, 4 months is pre-incorporation period, and August to March, all of you can count it, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, 8 months is post incorporation period. Okay, now 4 and 8 both are divisible by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So 1 is to do 1 plus 2, 3. 1 by 3 and 2 by 3 is the time ratio. Second working what we require is sales ratio. Now regarding sales ratio, I have told you in the last question itself, from April to March you write all the months. You all can see in the last question also we had done this. April, May, June, July till March, you write all the months, and then you find sales of pre and post incorporation period separately. So first write down all the months: April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Now in this, the pre-incorporation period is April, May, June, July, first 4 months. April, May, June, July, first 4 months is pre-incorporation period, and August to March, 8 months is post-incorporation period. Now what are the sales? What are the sales? Look at information number 1. Sales up to 31st July 2017 were 30 lakhs. Up to 31st July, up till here, these sales are 30 lakhs up to 31st July. Directly pre-incorporation sales are given out of total sales of 1 crore 50 lakhs. Total sales 1 crore 50 lakhs. From that, April, May, June, July sales 30 lakhs. So what are the sales of remaining 8 months? 1 crore 50 lakhs minus 30 lakhs, that is 1 crore 20 lakhs. Now 30 lakhs and 1 crore 20 lakhs. First of all the zeros will get cancelled. So 3 and 12 will remain. Both are divisible by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. I repeat, 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 1 plus 4 is 5. So 1 by 5 and 4 by 5 is the sales ratio. I hope everyone is clear with it. Any confusion, you can rewind and listen to it once again. And third working we will make for purchase ratio, which will help us in discount income. Okay, purchase ratio will help us in discounts income. Now exactly same way as we did sales ratio, we'll do purchase ratio. So again write down April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. April, May, June, July, first 4 months is pre-incorporation period, and August to March, remaining 8 months, is post-incorporation period. Okay. Now what information is given in adjustment 2? Purchases up to 31st July 2017 were 30 lakhs. Exactly same way. Up to 31st July means April, May, June, July purchases are 30 lakhs. Out of total purchases of rupees 90 lakhs of the year. Total purchases are rupees 90 lakhs for the whole year. Okay, total purchases are rupees 90 lakhs for the whole year. So what would be the purchases of post incorporation period, April to March? 90 lakhs minus this 30 lakhs of pre-incorporation period. So 60 lakhs. Now again, zeros all will get cancelled. So 3 and 6 both are divisible by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. I repeat, 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. So 1 by 3 and 2 by 3 is the purchase ratio. Okay, this will help us in discount income. It is a purchase ratio. And fourth working, we will obtain one more time ratio for interest paid to vendors. Okay, one more time ratio we have to obtain for interest paid to vendors. Now interest paid to vendor, we have to obtain the time ratio only till the date of repayment. So here time ratio will be how much for interest paid to vendor till the date of repayment. Now you all can see here in third adjustment, what is the date of repayment? 1st February. 1st February means you all can say, again you write the 3 dates. What is the date of year beginning or acquisition? 1st April 2017. What is the date of incorporation? See, we are obtaining time ratio, so again 3 dates are required. 1st April, 1st August, same date. But now we don't need 31st March. We have to find only up to the date of repayment. So what is the date of repayment instead of year ending? Okay, we have to write the date of repayment because we need up till the date of repayment, 1st February 2018. Okay, 1st February 2018. So what will be the time ratio for this? April, May, June, July. Pre is same 4 months, but post period. 1st February means we will count only till January. So August, September, October, November, December, January. 6 months is post incorporation period up to the date of repayment. Okay. February and March 2 months are not included. So instead of 8 months, we have only 6 months since February and March is not included. 1st February we repaid the money. 4 and 6 both are divisible by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 2 is to 3. 2 plus 3, 5. 2 by 5, 3 by 5 is the time ratio exclusively for interest paid to vendors. Okay, I repeat. Interest paid to vendors we have to obtain till the date of repayment. As per adjustment 3, the date of repayment is 1st February. So April, May, June, July, 4 months is pre-incorporation period. and August to January, 1st February means till January, 6 months is post incorporation period. So 4 months and 6 months both are divisible by 2. 2 is to 3, 2 by 5 and 3 by 5 is the time ratio for interest paid to lenders. Now in our solution, what are we supposed to do? First, all of you make the format of Sun Limited's profit and loss statement. Okay, all of you make the format of Sun Limited's profit and loss statement. Give the heading in your notebook, Sun Limited profit and loss statement for the year ended. Okay, profit and loss statement for the year ended 31st March 2018. Okay, for the year ended 31st March 2018. Now all of you pause the video and make this entire format. Okay, all of you pause the video and make this entire format. Which format? Till profit after tax. You all know the columns to be made. Yeah. Sun Limited profit and loss statement for the year ended 31st March 2018. Particulars, basis of allocation, note number. Okay, basis of allocation, not basic. Basis of allocation, note number, total, pre and post. And the format shortcut method, I have told you how to remember it. First, revenue from operations. Second, other incomes. Third, total incomes. Only 2 incomes are there, so no shortcut. Revenue from operations, other incomes and total incomes. In expenses, C, D, E, F do. So C, cost of materials consumed. D, direct purchases of stock in trade. C, again change in inventories. E, employees benefit expenses. F, finance cost. D, depreciation and amortization. Do O, other expenses. Then total expenses. Then profit before tax, provision for tax and profit after tax. Pause the video and make this format. Do it fast, everyone. Yes, I hope everyone would have done the format. So now what we will be doing is, we'll be making the notes. Okay, before we make with this P&L statement, first we'll have to make the notes below that. So all of you give the heading notes, note number 1. Okay, and only one column of amount will be sufficient for the notes. As such, we'll make more than one column only, as I told you in the previous question, we'll make more than one column of amounts only in case if you have more than one items in the note, like in finance cost generally, and in other expenses we always have to do it. And if you have more than one item and more than one basis, then only you have to make more than one columns. So we'll see that. Okay, first note we'll make for revenue from operations. Do we have revenue from operations? Yes, only if given to you we have to make it. You all can see we have it. Revenue from operations, RFO we have marked, gross profit and 15 lakhs. Right now we'll just write the total amount because basis we will directly show it in profit and loss statement. So all of you write down note number 1, revenue from operations. Okay, and directly total amount, that is 15 lakhs. Okay, revenue from operations and directly the total amount, which is 15 lakhs. Okay, then after revenue from operations, which is the other item, we have other incomes. That also we have in the question. Discount received of 60,000, but only one item is there, so no need to make the columns of basis. Straight away, second note, all of you write down other incomes. In other incomes, okay, in revenue from operations, we must show that it is gross profit of 15 lakhs. Okay, in revenue from operations, we must show that it is gross profit of 15 lakhs. Now other incomes. Okay, next note will be other incomes. So second number note, all of you write down other incomes, and in other incomes we will show discount received from creditors 60,000. Again only one item, so directly we will show 60,000. Okay, discount received from creditors 60,000. Now after other incomes, total incomes, then total incomes in expenses. I told you we never have this cost of material consumed, purchases of stock in trade, and change in inventories. These three items we never have in the question. So straight away we will have employees benefit expenses, and we do have that. Okay, here I made you do the correction in the question. Employees benefit expenses will include salaries of 40,000. So all of you write down note number 3. All of you write down note number 3. Employees benefit expenses, in that salaries of rupees 40,000. Then fourth note, after employees benefit expenses, what is the next item we have? Finance cost. That also we have in the question. But how many items are marked as F? Only one item. Unlike previous question where we had two items in finance cost, two different bases. So we made all these columns. But in this question, we have only one item of finance cost. So no need to make all these columns, because only one item's basis we can directly show in this P&L statement itself. I repeat, only one item's basis we can directly show in P&L statement itself. So finance cost, only one column will be sufficient. In that we will write interest paid to vendors. Okay, interest paid to vendors, and amount is 1 lakh. I hope everyone is clear with this. Then fifth item, after finance cost. Okay, what is the next item we have? Depreciation and amortization. But do we have it? No. Any item here marked as D&A in green letters? No. So depreciation and amortization we don't have, will not write. Like we did not make note of cost of material consumed, purchase of stock in trade, change in inventories, because these items were not there. Same way we will not make the note for depreciation and amortization, because it is not given in the question. Okay, directly we will go with other expenses, and in other expenses I told you, you always have to make those columns. Okay, in other expenses you always have to make those columns, because you have administrative, selling and distribution, so you always have to make those columns. So make the columns: basis of apportionment, then total amount, then pre amount, and post amount. Okay, now in that, first is administrative expenses. So in administrative expenses, all of you see which items are marked as A in green letters. Okay, all of you can see here in administrative expenses we have rent, rates, insurance and electricity 80,000. I made you do that correction. Okay, 80,000. Rent, rates, insurance and electricity, all of you write down. Rent, rates, insurance and electricity, basis time. They all will go on which basis? Time basis. Okay, what is the time ratio? Normal time ratio, first working note 1:2. Normal time ratio as per working note 1 is 1:2. So here the time ratio what will come? 1:2. Total amount is how much? You all can see here. What is the total amount? 80,000. Okay, total amount is 80,000, and in time ratio we have to distribute that. So 80,000 Now 80,000 into 1 by 3. So if you do it in calculator, 80,000 into 1 by 3, that comes to 26,000. You round it off to 26,667, and 80,000 into 2 by 3, that will come to 53,333. Okay, then which other item of administrative expenses we have marked in green? A item in green. You all can see here, directors sitting fees 36,000, and basis is actual basis. It will go in post incorporation period. The entire amount will go in post incorporation period. So in administrative, directors sitting fees, or if you write down directors sitting fees, actual basis, that is in post incorporation period, because directors become the directors only after the company is formed. So entire 36,000 will go in post incorporation period. Okay, then any other item marked as A we don't have. So after administrative expenses, we'll take up with selling expenses. Okay, so selling expenses. Now in selling expenses, what things have we marked as S? All of you can see here, only one item is there, that is carriage outward and selling expenses 55,000, and they go on sales basis only. So carriage outward and selling expenses. Okay, carriage outward and selling expenses, they go on sales basis. Now in the working note 1, you all can see what is the sales ratio we have obtained. 1:4, 1 by 5 and 4 by 5. So sales ratio 1:4, 1 by 5 and 4 by 5. 55,000 is the amount. So 55,000 into 1 by 5, 11,000. Okay, and 55,000 into 4 by 5, 44,000. Then other than that, we don't have any other item of selling expenses. So next would be miscellaneous expenses. Okay, all the items marked as M will be taken into consideration. Now which all items are marked as M? Only one item is there, preliminary expenses, and the amount is 49,000. So all of it write down preliminary expenses 49,000. Okay, preliminary expenses. Now preliminary expenses will go on actual basis. The entire amount will go in post, because preliminary means formation expenses of the company, prospectus, etc. They all are incurred only after the company is being formed. So entire amount of preliminary expenses 49,000 will go in post incorporation period. Okay, no amount will come in pre. Entire amount will go in post incorporation period. One more thing, we will require the total. Okay, we'll require the total amount of administrative expenses 80 and 36. That is 1,16,000, 26,667, and 53,000 plus 36,000. So 89,333. Okay, total amount. What is the total amount of administrative expense? Same way, what is the total amount of selling expense? Only one item, so same are the amounts. And miscellaneous also only one item, so same are the amounts. Now we require the final total of all. So 1,16,000, or if you do in calculator, 1,16,000 administrative expenses plus 55,000 selling expenses plus 49,000 miscellaneous expenses, 2,20,000 is the amount of total amount. 26,667 plus 11,000, 37,667 is the pre-incorporation amount, and 89,333 plus 44,000 plus 49,000, so 1,82,333 is post-incorporation amount. Okay, so this will directly go in the notes. Now, since the notes are done, we can make the profit and loss statement. Blank format was already done by you. Now we have to just do fill in the blanks. So revenue from operation will go on sales basis, okay, which is 1:4. That is 1/5 and 4/5. Note number 1. What is the total amount as per note number 1? You all can see here 15 lakhs is the total amount as per note number 1. Okay, so all of you write down 15 lakhs. Now 15 lakhs in the ratio of 1:4. So 15 lakhs into 1/5 is 3 lakhs. And 15 lakhs into 4/5 is 12 lakhs. Other incomes, we have only one item of discount, so it will go on purchase basis, which we obtained as in the working note number 2, 1:2. Purchase basis, you all can see we obtained as 1:2. Okay. So in note number 2, we have the item of purchase ratio, that is discount received of 60,000, you all can see is given over here. Okay, that will come in other incomes. Purchase ratio is exclusively obtained for discount received 1:2. So 60,000 into 1/3, that is 20,000, and 60,000 into 2/3, that is 40,000. Now total amount will be required, total incomes will be required here. So total incomes 15 lakhs plus 60,000, 15 lakhs 60,000, 3 lakhs plus 20,000, 3 lakh 20,000, and 12 lakhs plus 40,000, 12 lakh 40,000. Okay, 15 lakh 60,000, 3 lakh 20,000 and 12 lakh 40,000 is the total amount of incomes of total pre and post. Now expenses, cost of materials consumed not available, purchases of stock in trade not available, change in inventory is not available, employees benefit expenses time ratio. And what is the time ratio? 1:3. Okay, we have done it in the beginning. 1:2. Sorry, time ratio is 1:2. Now, note number 3. What is the employees benefit expenses amount as per note number 3? You all can see here 40,000. Okay, so salaries of 40,000 will come over here. 40,000 into 1/3, that is 13,333, and 40,000 into 2/3, that is 26,667. Finance cost, since it will go on time basis, but till the date of repayment, which we have done in working note 2 as 2/5 and 3/5. So 2:3. Time ratio, but which time ratio? 2:3, which is exclusively shown in working note 4. Note number 4, what is the finance cost amount given to you? 1 lakh. Okay, so that 1 lakh will be distributed in the ratio of 2:3. 1 lakh into 2/5, that is 40,000, and 1 lakh into 3/5, that is 60,000. Depreciation and amortization we don't have in the question, not available. Other expenses as per the note. I repeat, other expenses as per the note, note number 5, because there are different bases. So directly we'll record this 2,20,000, 37,667, 182,333. In total column 2,20,000. Then in pre column 37,667, and in post column 182,333. Okay, and then total expenses will get now total expenses 40,000 plus 1 lakh plus 2,20,000, so 3,60,000. Then 13,333 plus 40,000 plus 37,667, so 40, 50, 80, 83, 90, 1,000. And 1,82,333 plus 60,000 plus 26,67, so 180, 240, 260, 266, 268, 2,69,000. Okay, 2,69,000. Now profit before tax 3 minus 4. 3 minus 4 means 15,60,000 minus 3,60,000, that is 12 lakhs. And that was given in your question also here. You all can see net profit was given in the question as 12 lakhs, but we have to find it. So here also it comes to 12 lakhs. Same way, 3,20,000 minus 91,000. Okay, 3,20,000 minus 91,000, that comes to 2,29,000. Okay, 2,29,000 and 12,40,000 minus 2,69,000. 12,40,000 minus 2,69,000, that comes to 9,71,000. Now from that we have to subtract provision for tax, which is not given in the question, so nil. Okay, we don't have provision for tax given in the question, so nil. And final amount, same 12 lakhs. 12 lakhs minus nil will be 12 lakhs. 2,29,000 minus nil will be 2,29,000. 9,71,000 minus nil will be 9,71,000. Okay. Now, this is our final profit amount pre-incorporation as well as post-incorporation. 2,29,000 is pre-incorporation profit and 9,71,000 is post-incorporation profit. Now this 2,29,000 will be transferred to capital reserve. For that we will pass journal entry because it is already given here. Show the transfer of same to appropriate accounts. So a small journal entry format will be done by you. Okay, journal entry for pre-incorporation profit. Journal entry for pre-incorporation profit. All of you pause the video and make the format, normal format of journal, date, particulars, LF, debit, credit, small format of 3 to 4 lines only. Make it fast. Yes, I hope everyone would have done the formats. So date will be 31st March 2018. Okay, date will be 31st March 2018. Now, what entry do we have to pass for pre-incorporation or profit prior to incorporation profits? Profit and loss statement account debit. Okay, profit and loss statement account debit. With what amount? Pre-incorporation profit, that is 2,29,000. Okay, pre-incorporation profit, that is 2,29,000. And we have to transfer it to capital reserve. So to capital reserve account 2,29,000 being profit prior to incorporation transferred to capital reserve. Okay, whatever is the profit prior to incorporation is transferred to capital reserve. So this one journal entry to pass it in all the questions, whether asked in the exams or not. So it's a simple chapter. It will take time to absorb it. With practice, you'll become more perfect. And I assure you, you all will become more perfect once we practice more and more questions. So that will be all for this lecture. More practice we will do in the coming week. Bye everyone. Take care. See you in the next week.